6.3 Try Now page, where we're trying to see whether or not you understood the topic that I was just doing before about x and y intercepts. So you should try these questions yourself, and then you watch just when I take it up, just to see if you got your answer right, and just follow along the steps. Also, when you're watching this, hopefully you've tried it yourself, and you are kind of marking yourself as you're going through, going, I did show this step right, I did show this step right. So it's kind of like an evaluation tool or a self-reflection tool here. And we're going to use them to graph the line. So we're going to find the x and the y intercepts and use them to graph the line. So the first thing I'm going to do is title it x intercept, which is when y equals 0. And then I'm going to title y intercept is when x equals 0. So you always want to say what you're doing. So make sure when you look at your answer that you actually have a little title there so that you know, so you're telling your story. I should be able to read it, and it should be like, yes, I know what's happening every step of the way, because you titled things. So for my x-intercept, wherever y is, I'm going to put in 0. So it'll be 2x minus 8, 0 equals 16. So wherever I see the y, I subbed in 0. And 8 times 0 is just 0, so that'll be gone. Write down what's left over, so you should have x equals 16. You don't have to show the cross out, but I want to see the next line. Then you're going to divide both sides by 2, and then you're going to get x equals 8. I usually go there for 8, 0. I find that that finds me, and I plot it, 8, 0, which is right here. So you're showing the steps. So when you look at this, when you're marking it yourself, kind of reflecting on your own work, you've got a title, you showed me the substitution, you got to your answer, you've got your zeros here lined up nicely, and you've got your little conclusion. So for the next one here, my y-intercept, I'm going to do a line to separate it because I don't like it when my stuff blends together. You don't have to do a ton of boxes on your page. Just make sure there's a space so we can follow. And we're going to do x equals 0. So 2, 0 minus 8y equals 16. So I already see x. I subbed in 0. We're going to cross that off. You don't have to show me the cross off, but that's what you're thinking in your head, that that became a 0. And then I don't write it the next line. I go 8y equals 16. Divide by whatever's in front. Now here, watch out. A lot of people, I said this before, drop the negative. So this becomes 0, but you still have a negative 8y. So you divide both sides by negative 8. Okay, so don't drop the negative. This goes to 0, but this is still negative 8. Then that crosses out to be 1, and y is negative 2. So then, therefore, that gets me 0, negative 2, which is a separate point right over here. We have that point there. Then you're going to, and it says use those points to graph the line. So I only need to see those 2 points. This instruction says I only want to see those 2 points on your line, and then I want you to draw a line, and I want to make sure that the line is drawn with a ruler. It's long to fill the grid, so fill the grid, always fill the grid, sorry, this is a G, grid, and so ruler, long, and arrows. The arrows indicate that the pattern could continue forever and ever, depending on how big of a grid we give you. So over here, you're going to go through the 2 points, clearly the 2 points. Nice line here with a ruler to say that you know it's a linear, and with the arrows on the end. And that's it. Right, so when you mark your own, you're looking at it, looking for all those steps that I just showed you. This next question here, right away when I see it, I go, ooh, there's only a y with no x. So then for myself, I know for myself it's one of the special cases. There's y with no x. Here, there's an x and a y. When there's a y with no x or an x with no y, I know it's a special case. If you want to, you can just divide both sides right away by negative 3. And you can go y equals 5. So then I know that it's going to be a y equals 5 line. But the question asks you to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So when I try to plug in 0 for y, I get negative 3, 0 equals negative 15. This becomes 0. So then I get something silly like this, and this has no solution. So therefore, no x-intercept. right? So there's no x-intercept. So that's my conclusion here. When I put in x equals 0 into this equation, there's nowhere to sub it in, so I just leave it as is. So from here, this is my brain going, wait, I know that it's going to be a horizontal line, but to answer the question, I still have to say this. I still have to conclude the answer. So you make sure when you mark yours, if you didn't say your answer, you didn't answer the question. So I said determine the x and the y-intercepts and then use them to graph. So I need the x and the y-intercept, so I need to mark that. Mark this, and the y-intercept would be divide both sides by -3, and we're going to get y equals 5. So then therefore my y-intercept is 5, which is 0, 5. So make sure that I can mark these two parts here, not just I graphed it. If you graph it without stating it, you're going to lose the marks for not answering the question. Right? So the question says find the x-intercepts or use the x and y-intercepts to graph it. So you're saying there wasn't one and there's only a 5. So I'm going to use that to graph the 5 here, and then it goes horizontally through as long as possible with arrows on the end. So these have to be stated and then graphed in order for me to say, oh yes, you use the fact that there's no x-intercept with the one y-intercept to graph that. Okay, so make sure you answer the question asked. So that's a little try now, just a sample question of the ones that we had done before.